Welcome to another unboxing from theplayersaid.com. I'm Grant. Today I'm unboxing the Battle of Midway from Turning Point Simulations. This is Chapter 19 or Volume 19 of a 21 volume series based on the greatest battles of history, which were determined in a book that can be found fairly widely. The idea behind this series is that these 20 battles were very important in the history of the world and turning points for those battles or those wars, and that's why they wanted to highlight them. So obviously the Battle of Midway is the battle over some small islands in the middle of the Pacific during World War II in the Pacific theater. So the Japanese had a plan to draw the Americans into a large naval combat and then to destroy their forces. Obviously, Pearl Harbor was earlier, and the Americans had taken a devastating shot there. But as we know, the Battle of Midway did not turn out that way, the way that the Japanese expected, and it was definitely a major turning point in World War II and would ultimately lead to the Japanese surrender. So what I'll do is take you through an unboxing. As I've mentioned before, these are pretty cool little games, little war games that are packaged a little differently than you normally would expect. As you can see here, there's a protective shield that serves as, in essence, the top of the box or to protect the game. And the box itself, the game itself, is designed to look like a book, a volume in a book. This is number 19 in the series. This is the spine. You can see it says Midway, and this game is designed by Paul Rohrbaugh. So kind of an interesting concept. I've done several unboxings on these, and I really find them to be very interesting. This game is a naval and air combat game around the Midway Islands. Here's the back cover of the game. You can see some of the counters down there at the bottom. If you'll look very closely, the contents, there are 176 large full color playing pieces, a mounted map board, a variant game island map, and then 12 pages of rules. So fairly simple. The game skill level is medium. Some of the ones that I've done earlier have been easy. But you can see here's an example of the map and some of the counters there, as well as this right here. This is that island insert map that it was talking about. So put that to the side. Really cool. Like the picture there. I think that's an SBD Dauntless, and you can see it's shot down as 0 in the background that's crashing. Also really like the relief of the sun in the background. Obviously that is the sign of the rising sun or on the Japanese flag, and you can see that that's represented there in the background. Very cool cover, very well done. The rules are fairly simple, as have been in all of these volumes. Actually, the rules are 12 pages. They are full color gloss, very well organized, very well written, very easy to understand, and laid out fairly well. Here's a look at some of the counters and markers that you'll find in the game. You can see various things from dice roll modifiers to battle sites, victory point markers. There's some explosions and some smoke markers. So kind of cool, but very well organized. A great series of books. Here on the back is you can't quite see that. Sorry, I'll bend that there. See the spotting chart at the very top? I think that's kind of cool. I haven't read the rules, so I don't fully understand that. But you probably have to spot either the naval or the air units before you can actually attack them. So should be pretty interesting. The art is done by Mark Mahaffey, and the color illustration that I just talked about is done by Terry Leeds. Very, very nice looking work, guys. Keep up the good work. So there's the rules. It's intended to be a medium complexity game, so it isn't overly difficult or complicated, and I think that's good. Sometimes having a good quick game that's easy to understand is very important. Here's that map insert they were talking about. You can see there are two islands there, the Eastern Island and Sand Island. I'm assuming these are attack zones. You notice they'll be marked there by letters and numbers. That's AZ4, AZ3, AZ2, and 1. So I'm assuming that's where people can or you can attack with waves of aircraft. So kind of interesting, but very nice card stock aid here. This actually says a Defiant Stand minigame rules of play. Not really sure what that is. There might be an extra minigame in there. And then here are some deployment cards. You've got Japanese deployment. There you can see in the bottom. You can see on the right there it says air deployment first wave, second wave, and third wave. So obviously there's some planning, some tactical planning in the game where you're trying to plan your attack, what units you'll be using, different information there. And then here is the American deployment. There's a victory point tracker at the top, just like on the Japanese card. But once again, they've got first, second, third wave. Kind of interesting. Show you there, you can see the different aircraft carriers, the Yorktown, the Enterprise, the Hornet. I don't know if that's where you're going to put what units are available there, or you track the damage. Once again, not quite sure. The battle occurred on June 3rd and 4th and 5th, it appears. So that is tracked there on the left side of that card, but very well done. Here is a sheet of counters. We'll go ahead and show you some close-ups. There's those spotted markers that we were talking about. There's some of the different forces, victory point markers. And then there's some names for the different aircraft carriers and units, the Hiryu, the Maru. You can see those different names, the Kaga, the Akagi. So kind of cool. The Yamato battleship up there. So those look really interesting. The other thing I want to comment about these counters, and I've said this before, they're very well struck. Look, I just very easily pulled those out. Very nice counters. They're clear, they're concise, very centered, and I think that's a significant accomplishment, especially for small companies. We'll go ahead and flip that over to the back. You can see some of the different information that's contained. So it appears some of the counters are double-sided, some are not. Here's the US side. These are explosion markers, it looks like, kind of there. So that's interesting. And then you can see there's Enterprise, Hornet, different information. Let's go ahead and turn that back over. Yeah, kind of really nice looking counters. I think they've done a very, very good job with these. So I look forward to playing with that. This is the mounted map board. You can see it is a sea, right? This is an ocean. So a majority of what you're going to be doing is moving your naval units and your air units around the ocean, moving in different formations, trying to attack the islands from different ways. So there's a lot of open ocean area out here. And if you don't know much about the Battle of Midway, it literally is a small island group in the middle of the Pacific. It was significantly strategically important because if the U.S. could get a military base there with airfields, they would then be able to bomb the Japanese mainland from that location. So I know that's one of the reasons they wanted it. Really nice map. You can see the hexes are clearly outlined, and they're not fully drawn in, but they're kind of a majority of it is drawn in, but there is some gaps, and I think that's a nice look and feel. Very nice quality, very thick, well-made component. So that's a very nice mounted map board. Could have very easily been a card or a paper map. So I'm glad they went to that extra level. Here are 4 6-sided dice. Small dice. They're smaller than normal. I really like them. They're very cool looking. And I've talked to you. Ooh, that was a great roll. Double 6s and double 3s. Boxcars. Take those dice out there and put those to the side. This is a tray. So it's if You can kind of see there, it's an inset tray that serves as the bottom of the box itself. So this is the bottom. That card sleeve wraps around it. And then inside here, you're going to punch out and put the counters, the markers, and then keep the dice in there. Really nice. It's going to keep everything nice and organized. And once again, I think is a really neat and innovative design, because I feel like it gives you some different a different storing ability for the game. So that's the Battle of Midway. I haven't played this yet, obviously just opened it. So looking forward to trying to get this one to the table. I love World War II games, particularly love naval battles. In fact, Alexander and I love Empire of the Sun. Recently we played South Pacific, which is a standalone game based on Empire of the Sun, but Empire of the Sun has some land combat, but also has a significant amount of air-naval battles, and that's one of our favorite things. I once heard from a person that he likes grand strategy, and grand strategy revolves around the use of navies. So this will be pretty cool. Fairly excited about this game. Once again, this is from Turning Point Simulations, turningpointsimulations.com. They have a lot of great games. And once again, this is a series of games based on a book entitled The 20 Greatest Battles of the World. So really a cool series. I now have 4 of them. Look forward to playing them, and then I would ask that you look for some reviews on our blog sometime soon. So I'm Grant. I'm done. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.